Speed. I am Speed. Now I'm just messing about. Here you have F123. Now this is a career mode that I'm making myself that, I've always wanted to do for a while now, and I thought I've got some spare time, why not try it now? Now, anyone that's played F123 will watch this career and see that, yes, there is some leniency. A lot of the racing line and stuff, some of the bitter part of that is still being used. The reason is because I'm using this career mode to focus mainly on the storytelling of Formula One and following my story on my pursuit to becoming a Formula One world champion. Hopefully. Now, obviously, we'll see throughout this career the challenges of Formula One, of competitive racing, being in a slower car, but often as well, also following the story of how things can't always go as planned, as you may see in race one of my actual career. But that's spoilers. We don't want to get that far ahead of ourselves. So here is the pilot episode to my F123 career. Basically, just to sum up as well how I plan to do these, I will do one episode per race. I won't do any commentary during the race. I will try and keep it as just raw F1 content as possible, with some bits and bobs of me commentating as if I was the driver. Obviously, I'll be learning to do this as I go along. I'm new to all of this, and I hope to, improve as I go along. If anyone ever has any tips or tricks that they think would be really helpful for me to use, please, please, please feel free to comment them in the bottom. Any tips or tricks that I can use, they would really be appreciated. And yeah, I really hope you guys enjoy. As things go on, I might do it like a bit like this with just a black screen at the start to give a little bit of a prompt and say what's going on, what's my plan and stuff like that, or if anything's changing. Oh, I almost forgot as well. I will also do segments like post-race interviews and stuff, trying to use a couple of clips. If anyone has any tips on how to get like AI voices for other drivers and things like that, please comment that as well. But yeah, just to make sure this opening isn't too long and lose all your attention at the start, I hope you enjoy the content. Yeah, please enjoy. Guys, the balance with this car feels absolutely incredible. Like, it is floating through the corners.
Okay, good job, mate. Really, really well done. That was a fantastic drive. Bring it home.
Great effort, guys, great effort.
The grid is all set for the race tomorrow, but before we go, let's quickly remind ourselves of our top three, which are Campbell, Lawson and Marcus Armstrong. With qualifying complete, all that remains is the main event. We'll be live and uninterrupted for the feature race tomorrow, so make sure you join us there. Welcome to Sakhir and the Bahrain International Circuit, where the grid is forming up ready for today's race. Bahrain represents an exceptional 3.36 miles of racing. Lots of opportunities to overtake throughout its 15 corners. Now, this track has built a reputation for being brutal on the rear tyres, so keep an eye on how these young drivers manage their rubber. Strategy here could ultimately determine the winner of the race. Well then, after an exciting session yesterday, let's take a look at how the cars line up. Campbell lines up on pole position, and it's Liam Lawson alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Armstrong, Sato, Jayan Daruvala, Hauger, Phipps, Williams, Fittipaldi, Ayumu Awasa, Novalak, Vesti, Richard Verschoor, Logan Sargent, and Dragovic, Hughes, Pourchaire, Ollie Caldwell, Boschon, Calderon, Doohan, and Amory Cordial completes the grid. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track. Davide, is there anything we should be looking for in today's race? The teams are all very competitive at the moment, so are we about to witness a push from anyone in particular?
Hi Alex, the team will have been studying everyone else out there very carefully. So I think we are in for a very interesting event today. I can't wait to see how this race unfolds.
Okay, this is going to take a monumental effort from you. I need you to push incredibly hard if we're going to get a good result today. Let's go and make it happen.
Yeah, copy on that. You know, I really appreciate the team getting me into this position. You know, I hope I can make you proud of it.
two-wheelers to set the fastest lap of the race. Final lap, push, push.
Oh my god, guys. Well done. Well done out there, guys. Well done.
Oh, superb driving. That is the race win, my friend. Well done.
Guys, that was genuinely a superb race to drive. The car felt amazing, and yeah, I couldn't have asked for a better team behind me.
So another fantastic victory for Dams today. So, Davide, how exactly did they set themselves apart from the pack today?
The difference was in the strategy. Credit to the driver for sure, but races like this really drive home how much of a team sport this is. They did a lot of work on the pit wall to really make the most of each stint and to make the best use of the tires. But that said, all of that would have been for nothing without a talented hand on the wheel.
Dams, another team with a huge amount of history based right in the heart of motorsport near Le Mans in France, have once again shown their formidable abilities out on the track with yet another win today. And now, let's take a look at the driver's stand. Campbell increases their championship lead. And now, Davide Valsecchi, let me ask you, who is your driver of the day?
I have to give it to Campbell.
On to the teams then. Dams move to the top of the table. It was great having you with us for this weekend. I hope you enjoyed it as much as we did. We'll see you when Formula 2 returns.
Frustrating session, guys. You know, P6 was... We were hoping for more. We were hoping for more, I'm sorry.
So qualifying is complete and we're all set for an exciting race tomorrow. Your top three are Lawson, Drugovic and Marcus Armstrong. The grid is set then, so that just leaves the race itself. Join us tomorrow where we'll be live with all the action. Until then, goodbye. Welcome to Silverstone, one of the staples of the Formula 2 Championship. It's a firm favourite amongst fans and drivers alike, and we're all keen to see what it has in store for us in today's race. 5 miles out from Toaster, this icon of British motorsport heritage comprises 18 corners over 3.6 miles of circuit. Silverstone has been through several changes over its lifetime, with the start line now leading into Abbey, a fast right-hander for turn 1. But still there, of course, is the circuit's most famous and iconic sequence of corners, starting at Maggots, turn 10. So before the off, let's remind ourselves of yesterday's results with a look at the starting grid. Liam Lawson lines up on pole position, and it's Felipe Drugovich in P2. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Armstrong, Pourchaire, Marino Sato, Campbell, Deruvala, Phipps, Vesti, Jake Hughes, Awasa, Williams, Dennis Hauger, Clement Novalak, Sargent, Vishaw, Caldwell, Amory Cordial, Doohan, Fittipaldi, Calderon, and Ralph Boschon completes the grid. Now it's almost time to lights out, so let's get down to the track. I'm not the only one sitting here today who's looking forward to today's race. My friend and GP2 champion Davide Valsecchi is next to me, already on the edge of his seat, awaiting the start of the event. How's it going today?
Hello there, Alex. I'm great, thank you, and very excited to get started. I have a feeling we are in for a very special event today.
The formation lap gets underway for this, the Formula 2 race, and every driver will be looking to settle in for the race ahead, making sure the car is ready for battle once the lights go out. We are almost ready to start the Formula 2 race as the cars take their positions on the grid, with the drivers and teams making their final preparations.
The FIA announced that cars will now be rolling on 18-inch wheels, far larger
final lap. Let's go. Final lap.
What a race, guys. What a race. P3. What a way to end the weekend.
I cannot complain about that one. That was an excellent drive. Well done.
Carlin have pulled off a sublime performance to secure the top step of the podium today. And Davide Valsecchi, give me your thoughts. How did they accomplish this result?
The difference was in the strategy. Credit to the driver for sure, but races like this really drive home how much of a team sport this is. They did a lot of work on the pit wall to really make the most of each stint and to make the best use of these tires. But that said, all of that would have been for nothing without a talented hand on the wheel.
As we can see, it's time for the podium, and I can see the Carlin team underneath our commentary box going crazy as their driver walks out. It was a great win, and it means a great deal to this team. And now, let's take a look at the driver's standings. Liam Lawson is our new championship leader after a great result. And now, Davide Valsecchi, let me ask you, who is your driver of the day?
I have to give it to Liam Lawson. One of the best things about Formula 2 is watching these young drivers grow and mature, and it feels like his career took a big step forward today.
And now a look at the team standings. Carlin moved to the top of the table. Meanwhile, a strong weekend from ART this time out, and they improved their position in the championship. Well, what a weekend that has been. Please join us next time for another thrilling instalment when Formula 2 returns. Wind down from the excitement of qualifying, here's a look at your top three: Lawson, Campbell and Felipe Drugovich. It's time to leave for now, but we'll be back tomorrow when the feature race gets itself underway. Located in the Ardennes countryside, Spa has been hosting races for almost a century, and it's revered by drivers and fans alike. So it's a joy to be here today, as we prepare for the next thrilling instalment of the Formula 2 race calendar. So here we are again, a whopping 3.5 miles of track here at Spa, featuring long straights, some seriously fast corners, and some massive elevation changes. This is a track that routinely delivers high-quality racing, and we'll be hoping to see just that from our young F2 drivers today. We're almost ready to go then, and this is what the starting grid looks like for today's race. An immense lap from Liam Lawson yesterday puts him on pole position, and Campbell completes the front row. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Drugovich, Pourchaire, Marino Sato, Williams, Vips, Deruvala, Sargent, Jake Hughes, Hauger, Iwasa, Clermont Novalak, Enzo Fittipaldi, Vesti, Armstrong, Dewan and Richard Verschoor. Calderon, Boschon, Cordial and Ollie Caldwell completes the grid. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track. Alongside me today, I'm delighted to welcome back to the commentary box the 2012 GP2 champion, Davide Valsecchi. There looks to be a challenging race ahead of the drivers today, Davide. With that in mind, what are you looking out for today?
Well, Alex, I want to see how the drivers at the back of the grid are going to roll down. They'll need to make an impact in the early stages, and they're probably hoping for a bit of luck at the start. We may see some bold maneuvers out there today.
The formation lap gets underway for this, the Formula 2 race, and every driver will be looking to settle in for the race ahead, making sure the car is ready for battle once the lights go out.
Aptly named the Halo, it's constructed out of titanium and adds roughly 9 kilograms to the car's total weight. British constructor Arrows never won a race, 393 attempts.
We are almost ready to start the Formula 2 race as the cars take their positions on the grid, with the drivers and teams making their final preparations.
The record for the most cars in an F1 race was achieved at the 1953 German Grand Prix, 34 cars. The race with the fewest entries saw only 6 cars on the board. This was the infamous 2005 US Grand Prix, which saw 14 cars pulled out of the race due to tyre safety concerns. F1's distinctive sound throughout the decades is in part due
the dirty air of the car in front. Let's get past them.
Fuck's sake, you're taking the piss. You are joking, thinking that 2-second time penalty is justified. It's just not right. I went off the track slightly. Jesus Christ.
Well, mate, thank you for giving that your best effort. It might not have been our day today. We've had a tough old afternoon, but it's been an incredible season. I've really enjoyed it, and I hope you have too. And we'll definitely come back stronger next year, eh?
There were questions at the start of the season as to whether they could really go all the way, but there's no question anymore. What a special year it's been. And here they are, the new Formula 2 World Drivers' Champion. Brilliant stuff from Carlin today. What a superb victory. So, Davide, how exactly did they set themselves apart from the pack today?
It was down to one thing: consistent pace over everyone else out there on the track. We could spend a great deal of time talking about race and tire strategy, what else occurred on the track, but at the end of the day, the difference here was down to simply being faster on track than everyone else. Amazing skill on show.
So then, it's time to see how this result affects the Drivers' Championship. We also crown a champion today, as their lead at the top is now an insurmountable one. What a great year it's been for Formula 2. Now then, Davide Valsecchi, who would you say was your driver of the day?
Lots of drivers impressed me today, Alex, but if I have to say one that impressed me most, it's Liam Lawson.
And here's how things are shaping up in the Teams' Championship. So then, Carlin have done it. This result seals their victory, and they are team champions at last. Meanwhile, a strong weekend from ART this time out, and they improved their position in the championship. That's the end of today's race. Thank you for joining us, and I'm sure you'll agree it was a great race and sets us up nicely for the next instalment in a few weeks' time. Take care. From Davide and I, it's goodbye.
It's ridiculous. I'm sorry, there's no other words for it. You know, the penalty was fair, and Lawson did an amazing job all year. You know, hands down to him, he deserves the title. But that 2-second time penalty was undeserved. But, you know, that's the world of racing, and hopefully we can be on the grid for F1 next year.